Chapter 8, Focus. A good system shortens the road to the goal. One day I was trying to organize my desk while paying my bills. Some things I pay online and other bills require a check to be sent in. I was consistently, maddeningly perplexed by my inability to efficiently go through the familiar and simple motions of paying a bill. Writing the check and noting it, placing it in an envelope, addressing the envelope properly, placing the stamp on it. It could take me 20 minutes. I would become distracted by something on my desk, a flyer I had not yet examined, and then I would decide a cup of green tea would be satisfying, and I would get up and get that. In doing so, I would go into the fridge for some macadamia nut cream and find myself staring out the kitchen window. I then might see something in my drive that made me think of something in my car that I would then go and retrieve. On the way back in from the garage, I would stop by the garden, spend 5 or 10 minutes picking out unsightly weeds. The bill had still not yet been attended to. Back into the house I would come, dirt, clutching the piece of white mail I had taken out of the car, believing I needed it. It would later be established that it was either the wrong letter or totally unnecessary to accomplish the original task. Entering the house from the hall and into the bedroom, I would see that I had left my pants on the floor that I had meant to put into the washer. I would get the pants, go downstairs into the cellar with the piece of mail from the car, and place the pants and other items in the washer. Returning to my desk, which was 2 floors up, I would then sit down to write out the check, and I would remember that I had made a cup of green tea, and that was still on the counter, now cold. I had not yet added in the macadamia nut cream. I would add the cream, nuke it, and return to my desk with a pot holder, embracing the all too hot cup. I would spill the tea while placing it down on the desk and burn a finger or two. Now the check would be wet while the piece of mail sitting down on the cold steel table by the washer that I needed to complete my bill paying job was still down in the cellar. Are you tired yet? This happened all the time. My cousins I spoke with daily would try to comfort me by saying, "Oh, I forget things too, dear. It's our age." They had no idea. If you're finding yourself challenged and frustrated with an inability to focus, I've developed some strategies that you can use to help you from getting on the mindless merry-go-round of maddening frustration. I discovered that a paper planner works best. I do keep appointments currently as well on my computer and cell, which are linked. However, keep in mind that we often think we are accurately recording an appointment when that is not what is being done. I learned this the hard way. I missed a lot of doctor's appointments. Subsequently, I learned when making a doctor's appointment to ask the doctor's office manager to provide me with a written card that would then often get left in the car. I could then take my time and enter it on my phone when I got home, but I would also write it on a sticky note. Blue was the color sticky I used for appointments, and I would attach it to the paper calendar on the spot where the appointment was scheduled. I like this method because if I needed to change the appointment, I could just attach the sticky note and place it in the new spot. There would be nothing to cross out. Before I developed this way of managing my planned time, I had at one time 3 different planners because I would cross things out. They looked so messy. I couldn't stand it, nor make any sense of it, as then I could not remember if it was the actual time and day. I remember telling my doctor that I had 3 planners. His reaction still present in my memory. Instant, eyes wide open, mouth open, elbows bent, hands swinging up to touch the air by his head, fingers splayed him in the ever-penetrating one loud word, "Why?" Visually keeping my schedule on this large planner works best for me. I would encourage you to plan out all your set in stone activities using the marking instrument that makes you happy. I love colored markers. These non-negotiables are the times needed and done daily. Bring this planner with you when you go anywhere. That way you are able to quickly see if you are available next Tuesday at 2. Looking this up on a small electronic device, such as a cell, may be challenging. It was for me. Things to consider when blocking out the times include the time to waken slowly in bed and time to use the bathroom. Do you meditate? Do you take a shower in the morning or in the evening? When do you eat? Eating's a non-negotiable, as is sleep. So place those on your days using a marker or a pen too. I carve out an hour and a half in the mornings to get things done, such as feed the dog and myself so I can go for a walk with him. That requires allowing time for driving. Keep in mind that when scheduling appointments too, there is commuting time that happens, so leave room for transitions and rest. Sticky notes are my all-time favorite tool for assisting in keeping track of events that may change. I also code my journal with colors, which I have assigned meaning. Blue is for appointments, pink for rest, green for work, purple for friends and family, and so on. I will use a marker in my planner and outline the event with the coded color. I use the sticky notes the same way. Doing this, I'm able to open my planner and see the entire week. If it's filled with only 1 or 2 colors, I know I do not have a balanced life plan for that week. Massages, therapists, doctors, and social events should also be included. When you can move the dates around without crossing out items, your planner is not confusing to look at. The sticky notes come in lots of fun colors and sizes. You can use them to write a grocery list or reminders of things you need to do for the day and attach them to your door that you must look at as you leave the house, or to the bathroom mirror or your refrigerator. At times, my door has been smattered with them, but if I don't write it down and place it there, the likelihood of my getting it done is in the probably not going to happen block on my planner. It's definitely an out of sight, out of mind thing. It's not your age. It's really your brain. Here's a list of things to consider. Waking routine, blocking out 2 hours before bed when you have no screen time. Bathing, getting dressed, household chores, self-care exercises, self-care treatments, exercising, traveling time, meal times, and journaling. Just know that having a routine is important as it helps you to keep track of things such as whether you've taken your vitamins, where your car keys are, and what bills need to be paid. These things can create frustration and stress if you can't remember. Having a daily routine helps you to do that. Are you taking medication or supplements? If so, I suggest taking these out every morning. Place every bottle out individually where you will be during the day. Dispensing them into a container does not work well, as you may forget if you have taken a particular capsule out, as some capsules may look the same. I keep them all in a small kitchen drawer. This could also work in the bathroom. It's best to have them at a location you frequent every morning. As I take each supplement, I immediately place the bottle back in the drawer. This method allows me to see throughout the day if I have taken all that was required. In the case of medication that you must take 2 or 3 times a day, I suggest taking out all 3 pills and keep them beside their container. In the morning, take everything out and place them on a tray, plate, or whatever works. Take your first pill and the other 2 will remain. At the end of the day, if there is a pill or a bottle left on the counter, you know you've not completed your dosage for the day. In addition to keeping a manageable, planned, documented schedule, I would suggest that you keep your living space as neat as a pin. It's much easier to wash the dish you just used than to let them pile up. Putting things back where they came from is the easiest way to go. It takes fewer steps and it saves time. I call it my boat mentality. To not do this creates a state of chaos, overwhelm, and distraction, culminating in a state of, yeah, you got it, stress. It's a most restful feeling when you can turn off the kitchen lights and everything's in its place. The next morning when you wake and return to your kitchen, it's a pleasant experience. It's as if the maid was working all night long and placed out your supplements and medications. Your daily goal, your finish line, is to keep it simple. Pick up as you go and don't let things pile up. This makes it much easier to relax. And oh, don't forget to make your bed when you get up. It's a great start for the day. Eliminating distractions ultimately carves out a perfect environment for staying organized. Focus on doing one thing at a time. Your brain may be skipping around. It may be tricking you into another action. Just as you focused on your athletic challenges, whether training or competing, you must now train your brain to complete one action at a time. If you train at being in the moment, you will find yourself able to complete a complicated task. If you fall into the habit of not putting things back immediately after using them, you will have chaos. That brings on a lack of focus, initiating overwhelm, brain fog, headache, and lethargy. You may be able to only do one thing at a time initially, so try to complete one activity at a time. Being organized will help you avoid getting frustrated over simple tasks and will ultimately lessen your stress, which is something I discuss in the next chapter.